welcome to the 153rd conference of River Talk in the Millville Studios. I want to introduce our first panelist. He is making headway, making news all across the country with his use of social media and his jump from the another scene of entertainment into comedy, and he was basically kicked out due to a post that he made that was racist, bigoted, and really showed a lot of white privilege. So let me introduce Mr. Michael Cohen. Michael, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, my partner Iggy Azalea and I have come under fire recently for her most recent album. I was just sticking up for my girl. And, people totally took it the wrong way. Wendy Bell and I are starting our new venture.
Yes, and can you tell me about that? Isn't it called Ring That Bell or something like that?
Yes, yeah, we're going on a speaking tour throughout the South, primarily the South.
Yes.
The North doesn't feel us yet, if you know what I mean. But I think they'll come around.
Except for Pittsburgh. Doing well in Pittsburgh.
North Side Pittsburgh loves us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me about this venture. Are you guys just honing in on inappropriate comments, and are you going to use that to try to drive traffic to your web-based site, or what's the game plan?
Yeah, we'll be weighing in on all kinds of controversial that shouldn't be controversial issues, like whether or not people can wave Confederate flags all over.
And you're in favor of that, of course.
Only in the northern states. So in the southern
it's
not
not
so sensitive.
I see. So down south, they can't wave it, but up here...
Well, down south, it's very disruptive because people have strong feelings about it. But up north, it's fine.
Okay, nobody cares up here.
Right. We'll be on a tour giving out red hats that say things other than Make America Great Again, but from a distance you can't really tell. Big fan of those, and we'll be making a lot of money on that.
Are you going to be using your platform to try to bring back big oil, big coal in a big way? Are you going to be using your platform to try to promote? I don't know, like back to the old days where we had separate bathrooms for everybody and everything.
Right.
I mean, right now we're moving to a point where people are combining bathrooms and going to bathrooms that either sex can use. You would like to take it a step further in the opposite direction, right? And break it down based on ethnicity and gender and everything else.
So actually, I want to break the bathroom plan down. I want people who use oil to have one bathroom, and people who use solar to have a different bathroom.
Yeah, and the people using
I don't
will
want
have the nicer bathroom, correct? Because that's where the money is.
Oil?
Yeah.
Yes, but people who use solar will have their ethical. Their smug ethical glow to make their bathroom nicer. I don't want to stand at a urinal next to someone
using solar.
Yes.
No. Welcome to the River's Edge Radio Network. I'm Brian Crawford, and that intro is brought to you by Wendy Bell and by Point Park University. So basically, Wendy Bell has now canceled a speaking engagement at the advice of her lawyer because of litigation that she's involved in with WTAE and her discrimination lawsuit, since she feels she was discriminated against. I'm not sure how, but at the same time, maybe there was a situation where other people have leaked out stupid information and they did not get fired. There was a belief, and I've heard this from prominent people in the media, that they believe that literally her firing was... They used what she said on Facebook as an excuse to fire her because they wanted to dump some cash, because she was a very highly paid anchor.
That's still not discrimination, right? That's just...
Sure, yeah.
Not wanting to pay unemployment.
Yeah. So, but she canceled a speaking engagement at Point Park University, and really what I got out of this story wasn't so much whether Wendy Bell is right or wrong. It was the fact that I want to give kudos to Point Park for bringing her in, because the stance that they took is, we don't necessarily have to bring somebody in who we agree with what they say or anything. It's a matter of how effective she has been at using social media, and that was kind of the point of this discussion. And she really has been successful after being fired from WTAE at really galvanizing a fan base to rally behind her. and she has a huge following on Facebook. She has over 90,000 followers on her Facebook page, which is called Positively Wendy Bell. So basically, I think what I need to go out there and do, Michael, is I need to go out there and say something really, really, I guess, misinformed, something that kind of portrays me as someone who is a white elitist, and then maybe we could really see a spike in numbers here at the River's Edge.
I mean, I think there's definitely a market for white elitism in this country right now, if that's what you're getting
I think maybe we need to corner that market.
Oh.
We could be the network for division and divide and conquer. That's what they say, right? We could divide people, and then they'll all love us because they either love you or hate you, but they're tuning in at least, right?
Pittsburgh's own Infowars.org, huh?
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh's been kind of a weird. It's been a weird time to live in Pittsburgh because you see these crazy divisions among people in both two extremes. So you've got recently in the last year or two where you've had people putting up signs for the KKK to revitalize it in the area, but at the same time you've seen this public outcry against it. You've seen vandalism of establishments run by minorities, but then you've seen the community come together to make sure that establishment not only has a rebound but thrives, and now those establishments are actually doing better than they were. So you're seeing this weird extreme on both sides of people who are coming out and being emboldened in their bigotry, but at the same time, and I've said this many times before, I'm not saying that Wendy Bell is a bigot, because I think she was more extreme. Well, I mean, I don't know what was in her mind, but I think it's possible that she was extremely misinformed, and even the gentleman at the restaurant who she was referring to in her post actually came out and said that he doesn't think she's a racist. So
right.
I think it's quick to rush to judgment to label her a racist, because we love to point that finger. But
yeah, I mean, I think it was tacky and condescending and.
But I think that's how it read.
Paternalistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gets down to the whole does intention matter. I'm not going to weigh in on that one, but I think that is often, I would say, the crux of the issue.
But either way, I really was impressed with Point Park University to look, I guess, to really look at what she has done on social media and maybe look past on her comments, because there is something to be learned as to how she was able to build such a following and build such a presence on social media. Hell, I'd like to take a class from her and learn how she did it, because we've been around for 2 years and we finally have over 1,000 likes on Facebook, and she's got over 90,000 likes in
right.
A couple of months. So
that's incredible when you think about Pittsburgh is only 300. Well, I guess the metropolitan area is 1 million.
Yeah, something like that.
So
but
I
yeah,
mean, that's
impressive.
That's what it's like a 1/12 of the population.
Yeah. So even though maybe we don't agree with what she said, I think there is an educational value to talking to her about how she was successful, and I just want to give my kudos to Point Park for acknowledging that, because I think a lot of places would have just said, oh, nope, too taboo, we can't have her in. And I think that was big of them as an institution to really look at the educational value and try to provide the best education. And you can even have a little caveat that says, we don't necessarily agree with what she said, but here is something that she can offer. And we were talking before we came on the show about the University of Pittsburgh, and they brought in Bill Ayers, and maybe some people wouldn't agree with something he did, but he was involved with the Weather Underground and was involved in some building bombings. But at the same time, he is a professor, as you said, so I think you look at these universities, and whenever they're able to look beyond what somebody says, on no matter what side of the political spectrum they're on, I don't know, I like that. I think so many universities are so afraid to hurt anyone's feelings or press a button, and I think it is their responsibility to provide the best education, especially when you're paying the amount of money that you're paying
right.
to go to one of these institutions. So, but we're going to get back into that a little bit more. We also have a new spying situation that occurred. Is it the Russians? Is it Obama? Is it a fat guy in his mother's basement? We'll get to the bottom of that. But up next, after the break, we have Amanda Narcisi of BOLD Pittsburgh and BOLD Nights Out here on the River's Edge. Come on, go! It's green! Come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down
Yeah,
with
I'm
the road
sick
rage.
of these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle Heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck Knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
Right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to The Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us. All right, welcome back to the River's Edge Radio Network. Look at all the people cheering for me because I'm back. Did you hear that? That's great. I can understand why. It's thrilling to hear my voice 3 or 2 times a week, depending on my sleep schedule and what happens. But you're lucky to have me now, so you're welcome. Another person that we're lucky to have is Amanda Narcisi, who's calling in over the phone. Amanda, maybe they were cheering for you.
Maybe. It
Maybe.
is, the Women's Day or whatever this is? I don't know.
It
I
is-
think every day is Women's and Man's Day.
That's
so.
right, it is Women's Day, yeah. So we have one of the women of the River's Edge Radio Network on the phone for Women's Day. My friend brought up an interesting point. Heather Nevels, who is the resident meteorologist here at the River's Edge Radio Network, even though she's been on hiatus for school, she made an interesting point that a lot of, I guess, women are taking off work, and she actually was kind of almost offended by it because she said, we have had people who fought for our right to work, and then here we are taking off. So I thought that was an interesting point. What are your thoughts on that?
As BOLD is a woman-run business, we are actually holding a meeting tonight.
Oh, there you go.
We're actually holding a meeting to take steps into our future. So I think in a way I'm not a hot-button political person. I'm also not I'm a feminist, but not a feminist, and I'm everybody, basically, because I'm more of a guy girl than anything. So honestly, I feel great. If that's something you want to cheer for, wonderful. If it's not something you want to cheer for, even better, whatever. I personally sat down and thought about it, and I said where I work as my day job, if the women got up and walked out today, first of all, the store manager is a woman, so kind of but then all the rest of them, we have 2 female managers, and all the rest are men. So, I mean, honestly, the demographic split almost 50-50 where I work with my day job, so I wouldn't see it impact. But BOLD is a woman's run company, and like I said, we're actually holding a meeting tonight, the 3 of us, to take our steps into the future. So I think that we're celebrating it in a little bit of a different way.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that about in retail, because I remember when I first started at a certain retail store, we'll call it Kmart, and I went in there during the interview, and the store manager asked me how, and it was so mind-blowing to me. One of the first questions he asked me was, how do I feel about working for a female as a manager? Because there were a lot of assistant store managers that were women.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm I guess my first job, almost all of my managers my entire life have all been women, so I just never, I guess it's an age difference between he and I, but I thought that was so weird. And maybe that just shows even in the, how many years has it been since I worked at that job, it shows maybe the way we've progressed even in that time. I don't know. I didn't realize there was an issue back then, but maybe there was.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who closed today. I know a lot of people who marched today. I know a lot of people who kept their business open. I know a lot of my friends who work for women ran and owned companies. They decided to go to work today, even though they didn't have to. They thought it was their duty to keep their women's run business going. So I see all sides of the table today, being a girl and having a lot of girlfriends. I see all sides of it. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, let's get into this week's show, which aired earlier this morning. It'll be on demand before noon. So I want to get into the He Said, She Said. Let's jump right into that. I loved last week's segment. I think that's really a strong segment, and I'm excited to see how that continues to grow and to develop. But what did you talk about this week?
So our he said, she said was a little bit not safe for work this week. It was the topic of sex toys. And because I saw different companies moving in different directions, like Pure Romance is moving in the direction of like personal care. And so it was a topic of discussion of that. And then also we touched on the story that came out this week across social media on the woman who was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and that she wrote a dating profile for her husband, asking somebody to please marry her husband. So we talked about that a little bit.
That is really sweet.
Wow, that's crazy. So we're go ahead.
Super light to super heavy, really quickly.
Yeah, that's a huge mix for the he said, she said. I'm excited to hear that. That's going to be awesome to check that out. You can check that out at riversedgepgh.com and also Bold Pittsburgh with all of your guys' social media as well, and that'll be available right around noon. Right after this show, we'll be putting that up and on demand. So where is Hot to Be this week?
You're going to see me. I have one event that I'll be attending this weekend is the VIP Gala event for Bricolage.
Well, you get invited to everything VIP, don't you? Because you're a big shot in the Pittsburgh media world.
Pretty much so. I'm enjoying that. I think it's the one reason why I keep this going. I email once a week that says, we would love for you to come here. But I will be there taking some photos, hopefully doing some video. What it is that Friday night they send out 6 playwrights on buses, like transit buses, in different directions outside of the city from August Wilson. And they are to write a play, a 10-minute-long play. And on Saturday night, they hold this fundraiser for Bricolage that they show the plays. But there's also a silent auction and cocktails and appetizers, the whole spiel. They call it a VIP gala. They hold it. This is like their 12th year doing it, 13th year doing it. So that's actually where I will be this weekend. And then next week you can catch me at Daddy Longlegs at the Pittsburgh Public Theater on Thursday night. I will be there seeing the show, getting ready to write a piece on that. They're gearing up for their spring showcase at Pittsburgh Public Theater. So
very cool. So you got to check out, if you haven't heard it yet, listen to it on demand, Bold Nights Out. You can also, first off, what do you have going up on the blog that people should check out? Drive some traffic back there.
This morning just released is our upcoming piece on the multiple choice, the Cultural Trust multiple choice series.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we talked about the first one called Shitface Shakespeare, where it's basically a one-man show, and he gets lit and does A Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Very cool.
On top of that, they're going to throw a party with Grist House. So there will be a beer tasting there and a food truck. And during the beer tasting, we'll be building the cardboard city for the Kaiser's Jew big battle that will be happening in June.
I really want to check that out. I think that's going to be fun.
Well, we're really excited about that. We are going to be partnering with Storytime Media on that. We hopefully we're waiting to hear back from management to see if we'll be able to bring a video camera in. But we will be there, hopefully broadcasting, hopefully talking about it. So that came out on the blog. We have a couple of new pieces coming out soon. We went to Dorothy 6 and Voodoo Brewery, which should be coming out this week. So
very cool.
For that.
So check that out. You can find out maybe Amanda doesn't like sex toys. Maybe she gives you her favorite one and leaks out that information. You'll have to listen to Bold Nights Out right afternoon to find out. Amanda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, that's Amanda Narcisi of Bold Pittsburgh and Bold Nights Out. I'm Brian Crawford. You're listening to The River's Edge.
Would you be interested in developing conscious choice? Would you be interested in creating reactions rather than waiting for one to come? Would you be interested in combining serendipity and synchronicity? Would you be interested in making 1 + 1 = 3? Would you be interested in finding out about full impact mindfulness? If so, I challenge you to join myself, Jim Ellermeyer, a cognitive behavioral health therapist, every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the River's Edge, where we will challenge you to allow us to help you help yourself to fully participate in your life. Let the adventure begin.
Dun dun da 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 dun dun da 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 da. That's right. The state senate has been attacked. They're under a cyber attack. Pennsylvania State Senate, they are communicating with the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the State Attorney General's office after a ransomware cyber attack shut down their computer systems. So, my question today, who did it? Who done it? We need to deduce this. Was it the Russians? Did they hack the Pennsylvania State Senate? Was it Obama? Can we give one last thanks, Obama? Or was it some fat slob living in his mother's basement?
Yeah, I'm going with like Yugoslavian teenagers, probably.
You think?
Yeah.
You don't think it was Obama? Can't I say thanks, Obama, one last time? And Obama was not even in on this whole cyber thing until recently when the Donald came down and accused him of tapping into and spying on his campaign. So I wouldn't be, if it's true, it wouldn't be a stretch to think that, Obama ordered the state senate to be ransomwared.
Yeah, I just feel like
due to the fact that they are a Republican-run house. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I just feel like ransomware is not a politically motivated thing. I feel like ransomware is generally something that teenagers in underdeveloped countries do to your grandparents.
I just want to say thanks, Obama. Damn it! Can't I blame
There's
Obama?
There's lots of things you can thank Obama for.
I want to blame Obama.
Ranging from my health insurance to the NSA. Some good things, some bad things.
See, I think his some of his banking regulation I'm really happy with.
Yeah, some of that was great.
Yeah, some of that was great.
Although, here's what I'll say. I'm a little excited to have it dismantled because right now, there's no way anyone is lending me money for a house.
Yeah.
Because it's a bad idea. But once Trump comes in and guts this...
Well, see, actually, I'm opposed. I think, I got mixed feelings on that. My biggest thing with him is he made it so now your bank can't just charge you whatever the hell they want. If you overdraft, they have to give you the option to decline overdraft protection, whereas before they could force it on you.
Oh, see, stuff like that is nice.
Yeah,
stuff
basically
nice.
What would happen, I once had my information stolen when I was at a bank. I was at Irwin Bank, which no longer exists, and then whenever they were purchased by another bank, that's when I got my information stolen. So I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the transfer of cybers or what. But anyways, I had my account hacked or stolen or something, and money was taken, and the banker was basically like, oh, you did it to yourself. She was basically trying to blame me, and then it turns out that all of the charges were for, Papa John's Pizza in Mississippi. I had never been to Mississippi before, and I had never
check it out sometime. It's nice.
Is it?
Kind of.
I've never been to Mississippi, and I've never been to Papa John's to this day. So
Papa John's is not as nice as Mississippi.
Okay, good to know. So, and that's one thing. We live in, pizza paradise here in Pennsylvania in some ways. Back in my hometown, one of the major nationwide pizza chains was driven out of business twice by the independent pizza parlors.
I love the idea that you're in some boardroom arguing your point, and your main piece of evidence that you didn't spend money at Papa John's is that you live in a place with better pizza.
I do. I really do live in a place with better pizza. Yeah, it's a legitimate argument.
No, totally. But yeah, no, I just want to be able to buy like 3 houses that I can't possibly afford, but then make it work by Airbnb-ing all 3 of them all the time and become rich.
There you go. But one of the things that he did change, okay, so like when my account was hacked, not only did they charge me, because what they do is they take your biggest expense and push that through first, so that way they could charge you for every little thing after the fact. So instead of getting charged for a $30 fee, you'll get charged with hundreds of dollars in fees. And they say that they're doing you a favor because they want to make sure that your important bills get through first. So we'll push the big bill through and do you a favor, and then we'll attack you every little bit on every other little purchase, every pack of gum that you buy, instead of running all of those payments through and then giving you one fee. Well,
I didn't use banks for a long time, and maybe it's time to go back to that then.
I don't have a bank. However, I'm thinking about going to First National Bank. They're sponsoring the music festival, and they also seem to have some really good programs that aren't like just attacking you. Like you don't have to have a minimum amount in your account and things like that. But anyways, with that bank, not only did they charge me for each one of those fees, but then they charged me, and luckily I got the fees removed. They never gave me my money back, those bastards, but I got the fees removed. But they were going to charge me, and they had started charging me $30 a day for every day that my account was overdrawn. So if you're a poor person and you're already in a situation where your account is overdrawn because you don't have any money, how in the hell are you going to repay that when they're charging you $30 a day on top of the $30 fees that they've already given to you? They've made it now impossible for you to get ahead of the curb. Yeah. So I was very much in favor of that legislation. But here they're saying here, according to the Post-Gazette, that, that Senator Jay Costa says that ransomware attack was discovered Friday morning, citing the investigation caucus. Officials aren't saying what, if any, ransom was demanded, and it says that ransomware attack is typically aimed at stealing sensitive information in an attempt to be paid for the data's return, often in a digital currency. So I guess they were stealing information. That could actually be interesting. See, I wish WikiLeaks would jump into Harrisburg and uncover shit.
See, here's
in some ways.
Can I bring this one back to Pittsburgh, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing that people don't think about. Right now, information is what's on the internet, but as we move towards the Internet of Things, people won't need to seize information to ransomware. People can ransomware your car while you're in it once Uber gets its way and we have self-driving cars. You thought you were going to the ballet, but actually you're just doing loops out on the highway until you learn how to use Bitcoin and pay some 18-year-old in Russia to let you go. I mean,
yeah, so it's back to Russia, like I said at the beginning. Is it Russia?
Yugoslavia, whatever.
Russia, Obama.
But I'm not talking about the Russian government. I'm talking about, like...
Yes, I understand, yeah.
Any jag who wants to pull this stuff down off the Pirate Bay. Like, you can just download these programs on the internet. That's the thing. Any asshole can use them. People in the U.S. can't because we'll be arrested, but you go somewhere a little more lawless and it's...
So, I feel like... in many cases, these people, it's like so pathetic that it's just like, work for your money. I don't know. Like, I hate people who steal. Like, I have no... sympathy for thieves. Like I sometimes I would almost like to go back to like the Middle Ages where they cut off your good arm and then you were forced to eat with the arm that you wiped your ass with, and make stealing really a harsh crime. Because you know what, like people think like, oh, I'm stealing from like some rich snob, but it's like, no, you're always stealing from the guy at the bottom.
Well, globally, some kid in Yugoslavia is stealing from a rich snob. By our scale, yeah,
sure.
that person is somewhere in the middle. I mean, the Senate is not at the bottom.
Not our Senate. Our Senate.
At least for the first 10 years, anyone who owns their own driverless car is not at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Sure.
At some point, yeah, everyone will have them, but...
Yeah, I don't know. But
maybe it's like my old school American like bad boy hero worship or whatever, but like I've just got a thing for like Billy the Kid style, like Robin Hood-esque, these like
yeah, but Robin Hood technically stole from the government and gave back to the poor.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that is often miscommunicated.
Well, the rich.
Well, the prince.
Sure.
Who was the government.
I don't know if you call it the government back then. It's like...
But I mean, they were essentially the government.
But it's like stealing directly from Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like...
Fair. But it wasn't like, he was going out and, like, I don't know, it was pretty... He had targeted people, but that's often left
Sure.
out of the conversation.
Yeah, no, I mean, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. I feel like that's... The slogan suggests a very specific demographic, right? Anyway.
But, yeah, Robin Hood. It's a controversy now. We're making everything a controversy.
Robin Hood is controversial. I'll tell you this.
Thanks, Obama.
If Robin Hood came back today and wasn't white, there is no way the American public would think he is nearly as cool as they do now.
Well, I thought he was an animal. Wasn't he an animal?
He's a fox in the Disney
Yeah.
one. But no, I mean, seriously, like, you catch some Latino robbing rich people and giving it to the poor. That dude is not going to be a folk hero.
No, well, maybe you should learn English. No. So, we went to the Frick the other day. It was your first time
Yes.
at the Frick. What did you think?
It was delightful. I couldn't believe they had paintings from the 15 and 1600s just sitting in a house like that. I generally think of those as being in, like, much larger museums. They had fancy cars from way back in the day, and we were looking
buggies as well.
Oh my god, they had horse-drawn
buggies were cool,
carriages.
yeah.
Sans horses, of course. They're long dead. But yeah, no, it was wild. And we were looking at the different types of cars and the different things that they, like, ways that they stored their spare tires. I guess I'm a very practical person, so every time I would see one of these, I'd be like, it's got 2 spare tires. Brilliant.
Yeah, and they were designed so much nicer. Like the designs of cars today are so blah. Like, cars suck today. Why can't cars be more interesting? I don't care about the hamster driving the car. Just make the car look nice.
Wait, are we the hamsters?
I don't know.
Okay.
What do you mean? Like, are we living in an alternate universe type of deal?
No,
Where we are now hamsters and hamsters are us?
you said hamsters.
Yeah, like the Kia commercial with the hamsters.
Oh,
We've got
okay.
The hamsters that are driving the cars.
All right, I thought you were going like big, like rat race on us here, but like
No.
domesticated.
Here, I thought maybe you thought that we were living in an alternate reality and we're actually the hamsters and the hamsters are us and we're dreaming of the life that we could have.
No, I thought you were like doubling down on rat race because like rats are like rats are at least often wild, but like hamsters are like domesticated, which is like a pathetic version of a rat, right?
Hamsters are cool. I like hamsters.
They have no dignity.
Oh man, we had this one hamster that, like, ate its babies, like cannibalistic style, like it was crazy. So did you hear about the tick thing?
Which
and
tick
the
thing?
Lyme disease that's coming our way?
I grew up in Connecticut. Lyme's disease has been a part of my life for
Well, it's
as
like
long
it's going to
as-
be like hitting this area hard.
Is it
So-
not in this area?
Well, I mean, somewhat, but not like it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I guess the way that our forests are set up make us a prime target for Lyme's disease because the rats survive and they flourish in these like small packets of wood, and we actually have more woods now than we used to, but it's actually more susceptible to Lyme's disease because the predators do not live in patches of woods that would eat the rats. So the rats are multiplying, and the Lyme's disease actually comes from the ticks sucking on the rats, and that's where the Lyme's disease comes from. It's actually from the rats. And it's
Interesting.
transferred
Wait, so
to us.
deer ticks are living on rats, is what you're saying?
They're eating the rats, yeah, or they're biting the rats.
Okay.
So, and the rats are the ones that carry the Lyme's disease that then is transferred to the humans. So if you get bit by a tick and there's no rats in the region, you might not get Lyme's disease because it's actually they're carrying the Lyme's disease from the rats to the people. But in areas like Pennsylvania, the predators that would eat the rats they can't exist in the way that our woods are set up. So even though we have more woods than we used to, because of the roads that break up the woods and things like that, their predators aren't surviving.
Interesting.
So we're actually in an area where like the rats are just multiplying like crazy in the woods, and they're saying that the Northeast is going to be like a huge Lyme's disease like region.
Well, the Northeast already is.
But it's going to be worse, they're saying.
more of the Northeast, yeah. Because I mean, like Connecticut, New York, that whole area, like you're not going to meet anyone who doesn't have someone who's had Lyme's disease in their family. Like that's everyone has had it. My brother had it. I may have had it. We didn't entirely wait. We just went right on antibiotics immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. I don't really fuck with antibiotics. They scare the hell out of me, but Lyme's disease is the one time that I just take them.
Yeah.
If I've got strep and the doctor's like, you should probably have antibiotics, I'm like, get away from me with your devil medicine. But as soon as Lyme's disease is on the table, I'm like, give me all the devil medicine.
All of it, yeah. No, because it's messed up.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to take one... Well, anything else to say on the cyber attacks? I feel like...
Yeah, not off the top, no.
I would like to create some sort of, like, anti-cyber attack program. Not like an antivirus, but like a virus where it's like, if you try to attack, it will, like, repel and hit you tenfold. I think that should exist. Like not just like a repellent, but like an actual, like, counterpunch. You know, like, you hit me with ransomware, well, now your entire country is, like, losing internet.
If that was an app, it'd be called Rubber. RUBBR. You know, with like a little lowercase, all lowercase, you know, from the old, like, I am rubber, you are glue.
Yes, yeah. I like it. So that's one thing. It's another thing that I like that Obama did was whenever, like, and there's, like, debate as to whether he actually did this, but, like, let's come on. This is badass of him. So, like, North Korea attacked Sony, so he turned the power off on North Korea. Do you remember that?
I did not remember
that. Was, like,
that.
Fucking awesome. So,
is that really a thing we did?
Yes. So
wow.
It happened, but, like, there's question, like, people try to say it wasn't him, like, oh, well, this just was a coincidence. Well, like, I mean, there's no way that was just a coincidence. And it was literally after they attacked Sony, he's like, we're gonna fight back. And then, like, literally the next day, the entire internet and, like, North Korea was just shut down for, like a period of time. And then it came back up. And I'm like, that's one of the most badass things I've seen a president ever do, where he just, like, literally shut down a country.
That's wild. If that actually happened, that's wild.
Yeah, no, there's no proof, but, I mean... just look at what transpired. I mean, there's no way he didn't do it. I'm sorry, he did it, and it's cool, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Mike McMullen will say on Friday. That was badass that Obama shut down a third world country because they attacked one of our companies.
When you put it like that, it doesn't sound very badass. It sounds hella bully.
But they
that
started
Obama
it.
shut down some third world country because it attacked one of our companies. Is Sony even an American company?
Well, I think it was an American, like, plant or something that was attacked. No, it wasn't Sony. It was...
No, it was totally Sony.
It was Sony, no, but it was...
Because they were releasing...
the movie side of it. So
yeah, because they were releasing that movie by that very funny Jewish boy. What's his name?
Yeah.
The one about... the dictator.
Yes, and... Yes. I believe that it was like something that they were
Seth
angry
Rogen.
about.
Yes.
In North Korea was angry about it, and they attacked Sony, and then Obama shut their asses down. He's like, fuck that. And as a disclaimer for the beginning of today's show, Michael Cohen is definitely a racist, but no, not really.
Definitely not.
Not a racist.
Well, I mean, yeah, the definition or whatever. I do my best.
He's a good guy.
I'm learning and growing.
Weird news to wrap up the show. You're listening to Pittsburgh's local music only radio station, The River's Edge.
Hi, I'm Mike Storer, host of the Awesome Cast, which you can hear right here on River's Edge Radio. We're talking tech, getting geeky every week with people from Pittsburgh in the industry. Go check us out, awesomecast.net, or listen to us right here on River's Edge Radio, Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. after Funny Money.
All right, how do you eat your pizza, Michael? What kind of pizza do you prefer? What kind of toppings do you like? What kind of pizza is your favorite? Like, what's your favorite restaurant in Pittsburgh? Do you like the big chains?
Yeah! I like the ones with veggies. I like lots of veggies, and I take a big slice with a thin crust, and I fold it in half like a sandwich. Unless there are two slices, in which sometimes I will just put them together like a sandwich.
So I like a big, like, thick crust, and I like a lot of meat.
That's Midwestern-ass shit.
Yes.
I'm from the Northeast. I want a thin crust.
Well, Pittsburgh kind of is in that mix. You know what I mean? We're kind of heading towards Ohio, and that's I don't know. We don't fold our pizza here, like our pizza, except for, like have you ever had Vincent's or?
Well, not everyone in the Northeast folds their pizza, but all the pizza in the Northeast is foldable. If you know what I mean.
I see. Yeah, I don't like to fold my pizza. I like my pizza
thin.
when it's like real thick and I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Shout
man.
out.
Midwest city.
Yeah.
No one here likes to accept it, but here's the thing. Would you say that people from Pittsburgh are high-paced, sharply intelligent, but rude as fuck? Or would you say that they're all pretty nice, but maybe sometimes a little slow?
I wouldn't say that.
And that's how you know whether you're a Midwest city or a Northeastern city.
I don't know. I think I'm like the brightest of an elite group of people here in Pittsburgh. So I think it's a pretty intelligent city. I don't know. We actually are considered the most educated city
in the
U.S. based on the number of libraries and schools that we have, and they've done a study.
Pittsburgh's the most educated city.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I mean, I feel like you've got a few outliers there dragging the rest super hard. There's like 20 of you going hard for your city, making the difference. And kudos to you, but...
Oh, this is stupid, okay? I can't even look into this because it's like a stupid thing where it's like, oh, we're going to give you a slideshow and you have to go through 20 different screens. So we're not going to do it. So we're just going to go based on my opinion.
Okay.
But no, Pittsburgh does have, like, we have a lot of libraries, a lot of museums, a lot of schools and things like that, and we're better than your rinky-dink Connecticut town.
Definitely better than my rinky-dink Connecticut town.
There we go.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, like, when I lived in D.C., okay, I used to do line standing, which is holding lobbyists' place in line for congressional hearings for $12 an hour, and I would talk to homeless dudes who had the same job. The takeaway from this is a lot of the jobs I hold are also held by homeless people, but B, most of them knew a lot about what was going on in government.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, wow, your average homeless dude in DC like reads one or more daily papers because they're free.
That's awesome. So the whole reason why I drilled you on pizza.
Yeah.
And who's your favorite local pizza? Do you have one?
I don't.
I'm a big fan of Frank's here in Millville.
I'm drawing a blank on what the place next to Victory Grill over in Northside is, but I love it just because I love that. Like the same family owns like Victory Grill, that and one other one, and they're the nicest people.
Now, do you dip your pizza into anything?
No, it's disgusting.
If
you're asking whether or not I put ranch on my pizza, the answer is no.
You do not put ranch on your pizza.
Do not put ranch
on
my
Do you dip
fucking
anything else?
pizza.
Do you dip your crust? Do you...
Crust can use a dip in some, like, spaghetti sauce or something.
How about milk? Would you dip your pizza in milk?
No.
Okay, and that's where our weird story comes into fruition here. Apparently, that's a trend that's going around on Facebook. People are dipping their pizza into milk.
Is that some more Midwestern shit? That sounds like something that Wisconsin came up with.
That sounds like something that some deranged individual came up with. Like, what an awful combination of flavors. And this article from the Huffington Post tries to justify it, saying that, oh, well, cheese uses milk in it, and there's cheese on pizza. It's a completely different flavor.
Yeah, why don't we just spread whey on our pizza? That sounds delicious.
Yeah. I mean, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And, like, just even looking at it makes me cringe. Like, there's a big picture. Let me see if I can pull it up here. There's a giant picture of somebody putting their pizza into milk, like into a glass of milk. Like, they literally have it. It's, like, somewhat foldable, and they're, like, dipping the entire slice into a glass of milk.
Ew, I thought you just meant the crust.
No, the entire actual, like, the pepperoni, the sauce, everything.
Oh, foul.
The crust, I mean, is still weird, but, like, that's not nearly as bad as this.
No, you dip the crust because the rest of the slice is perfect the way it is. It's got cheese and sauce and some toppings, and if we were intended to mess with that, we would have done it 100 years ago. You dip the crust because it's like, you can't get the toppings all the way to the edge or whatever.
Yeah, this is messed up.
No, you don't. No.
Ugh.
No.
These people... Ugh, they
Get
should
PETA in here. They'll do something about this.
Right? They should be banned from eating food. Like, there was a guy I was listening to an NPR special, and he can't eat because of his mouth. So he has, like, a thing that, like, is stuck into his stomach, and it just, like, pumps, like, nourishment into his stomach.
And he wouldn't eat this even if he had the chance.
Well, he wouldn't, no, for one. That's a good point. But secondly, these people, if you eat pizza and you dip it in milk, you should be forbidden from eating ever again, and you should have to live with a tube stuck into your stomach. Because you've made such poor choices in life that there needs to be a punishment that fits the crime. I think that's fair. So, don't forget, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow, the Millville Music Minute, Thursday, 7 p.m. I will be here with Ian Insect and a guest of my choosing. I have to figure out who's coming in this week. I think it's going to be Tim Wolfson of Music Night on Jupiter and Brian Spalls, our local councilman here in Millville, both members of the Millville Music Festival Committee, both awesome people. Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, I have a spot at Brillo Box on the 14th. I'm opening, or I don't know if she's headlining or just organizing the show, but Gab Benesso, very funny lady. That's Brillo Box on the evening of the 14th.
Very cool. So go check that out. Check me out Thursday. Check me out Friday morning. I will be here with Liz Tripoli, and she is going to be talking about a River's Edge show coming up, a live show, which is going to be at Ham Bones. It's Juge, and you have to listen to our Friday show to get all of the inside information on that. For Michael Cohen, I'm Brian Crawford. Local music is up next. Don't forget, we'll have Mike Sasson's show and Bold Nights Out on demand by noon at riversedgepgh.com.